everybody. This is Noah Pope Joy back with another, uh, well, Zelda movie discussion video. Been a while. I did one like 3 years ago. Wow, I can't believe it's been 3 years since this film was announced. And as of April, it's been announced that the movie has officially wrapped filming. It's done, which means they're into post-production, and that is really exciting to me because that film had like a 6-month filming period. That's a really long amount of time to be to just be spending in the wilds of New Zealand and filming there, which we will get to that, and maybe the other filming locations that are listed on IMDb, but right now, I really just want to talk about it again because there's been a lot of new information that's come out, and quite frankly, I there's just more for me to talk about now because, like, if you were here like 3 years ago, you know that I had a wish list of people of things that I hope they did for this film. And yeah, this is just talking about that. First on my list of talking points is Benjamin Evan Ainsworth and Bo Bragison as Link and Zelda. I got a picture here that I can look at. This was revealed, I think November of 2025, like right after they started filming. And I really want to get my thoughts out there, like, on YouTube, because it really shocked me. What happened was on the 14th of November, I think. Yeah, 14th of November. This was definitely in November. They set photos leaked of Bo Bragison and someone else on set of the Zelda movie, and it was really startling because that was on my birthday of all days. A lot of people are speculating Deacon. I don't know how to pronounce her first name, but I'll flash a picture of her up on screen right now. A lot of people are speculating she's playing Impa. I think it's either Deacon Lockman or Deacon Lock. I don't know. I am so sorry to any fans of hers because I'm sure she has fans. She's a little more well known than Benjamin and Bo. But the following Monday, they released these pictures, and they just look incredible. Like I could not imagine this looking any better than how they do right now. Like, you just see the fabric and the layers on Link's tunic. It doesn't look like cosplay. It looks like an actual fantasy outfit. It looks super lived in. Like, this is like a commoner who does a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for, that just kind of lives in the dirt. Like, maybe not the dirt, but lives in a very in like a fantasy cottage, like a quaint little cottage. And then there's Zelda, who just I mean, I am so happy with the way Zelda looks. Like, when I saw the initial casting announcement and the pictures attached, I was like, that is literally perfect. I don't know who these people are. So I will be able to just see them as Link and Zelda. It's just brilliant. But she's got a more it looks more comfortable, is what it looks. It looks more like a regal outfit, and what I like is in the picture, Bo almost has this regal, strong look on her face. Like, it's powerful, but it also exudes regality, and that is that's kind of um it's kind of exactly what I want Zelda to feel like. I know a lot of people are really wanting Hunter Schafer to play Zelda, but I'm in the minority that thinks that she would not have been a good pick for the role. She is too old. Unless they were like going specifically for what's for the Twilight Princess version of Zelda, which ironically, Twilight Princess being my second favorite Zelda game has one of my least favorite versions of Zelda, at least in terms of design and personality. She feels too much like Link. She does not have enough of a personality. And that's not to say Zelda usually has a personality. I mean, with like Ocarina of Time or A Link to the Past, she doesn't really have much of a personality. She is kind of just the planner, but something like Wind Waker or Skyward Sword or Breath of the Wild, she has a lot of personality to her, and I wouldn't really want Zelda to feel more like Link in a stoic manner, because that's what Twilight Princess Zelda feels like. She feels very stoic. But something else I really like is you see Zelda's holding a bow, and I am so glad she is. I want this movie to debunk the amount of stupid people who think that Zelda is just a damsel in distress. She certainly played that role, but she was never, that was not the only role she ever played. I won't mind if she's like a damsel that Link needs to rescue in like the final act of the movie. Just, oh my god, do not give her the Rosalina syndrome, because that was just awful. We will get to that because I have a whole talking point about the Super Mario Galaxy movie. In regards to that, I have a whole talking point later on, because I guess this isn't really going to be only about Zelda, but I am going to talk, but it is mostly going to be about Zelda. I would say like over half the video is going to be about the Zelda movie. But I want the movie to debunk the misconception that she is just a damsel in distress. That's not to say she's like as action oriented as Link, but she's very much like the chess player. And I just love the idea of her being there in the with Link, traveling with him. I think that's something that is going to carry over. That's obviously something taken from like Breath of the Wild, where Link and Zelda travel a lot together and like the memories. And I think that's a brilliant place to take this from. Have Link and Zelda actually travel with each other around Hyrule to, I don't know, find the pieces of the Triforce that they're looking for. Because if I'm a betting man, I'm gonna say right now, I think this is going to be like a loose adaptation of the first game, but with various elements from other games like Ocarina of Time. I definitely need to talk about that news. But that's definitely what I think we're going to get, because that's kind of what the first Mario movie was. It was a loose adaptation of the first Mario game, but with elements from all different types of Mario games. So that's kind of what I think this film is gonna be like. I think the story will be better, because storytelling is very naturally baked into Zelda's DNA. I have a whole list of reasons why I think this is gonna be the best video game movie, but it's just speculation, of course. We genuinely do not know yet, but I posted about it on Twitter. These are just perfect casting for these characters. Like, I'm not looking at an actor dressed as Link or an actor dressed as Zelda. I am looking at Link and Zelda. Like, this is just such brilliant casting, and I could not. that that is that's really exciting to see because it's one of the things that I really wanted. I wanted I wanted unknown actors in these roles. I mean, I fan cast Thomas Brody Sangster, and he's not exactly unknown anymore, and he's like a 30-year-old man, so that's that's that probably wouldn't have worked. But I'm really happy with the casting for this. They really freaking nailed the casting. I remember I fan cast Alex Lange, and it really does knock my fan casting out of the water. I remember I also fan cast um like between that video and the actual announcement, I was fan casting an actress named Skylar Dune as Zelda. I was fan casting Walker Scobell from Percy Jackson as Link, not the movies, but the Disney Plus television show. I was doing all of that, and this is just exactly what I would want from the movie. And it really does knock my fan casting out of the water. I was fan casting like Chloe Grace Moretz and Florence Pugh back in 2023, and I'm so glad they didn't do that because, I mean, I think the results speak for themselves. These really are just the characters. Like Benjamin is generational, Bo is generational. I think this is up there with like J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson. This is just perfect casting, just all around. I cannot think of better casting than this. And then there's the fact that they filmed in New Zealand, which is, that's where a lot of that's where the Lord of the Rings films shot their movies, and I am looking up the other filming locations because I know there was like more than one. Let me see here. I have the IMDb page pulled up. Let's see. Filming locations. Okay. So according to IMDb, I'm not sure how much of this is accurate, but according to IMDb, these were the filming locations for the film outside of New Zealand. There was Devon, England, in the United Kingdom. There was Los Angeles, California. There was Baja California Sur, Mexico. I don't know if I pronounced that right. I really hope I did. Apologize to any Mexicans if I didn't. Dublin, Ireland. Again, I hope I pronounced that first name right. Bavaria, Germany, and Kyoto, Japan. I don't know if that's true because just about anyone can contribute to IMDb on what's it called? Just about anyone can contribute to IMDb and like falsify information. That's what I was trying to say. But really, that was one of the big things I really wanted for the Zelda movie, because I didn't want them to just shoot on a green screen and CGI Hyrule like in Warcraft. No hate to Warcraft, but I really would have rathered if they shot on location. Which maybe they did. I didn't really look into production info on Warcraft that much, but I'm fairly certain they did a lot of green screen work in that film. But with something like Zelda, I'll flash on screen if they actually did film on location. But for something like Zelda, if they're doing a live action Zelda movie, I would have wanted them to film in all these prestige fantasy locations like Ireland and Iceland and New Zealand and all these places that have just these beautiful environments, because those locations are so baked into fantasy because of stuff like Lord of the Rings and Chronicles of Narnia. And that was really, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. This feels like a bridge between Chronicles of Narnia and Lord of the Rings, which I think is great because I know Wes Ball made a statement saying that he would want this to have like a live action Miyazaki aesthetic. And I think that there is a and I think for what they're going for, this is speculation again, but I think what they're going for is something between Lord of the Rings and Chronicles of Narnia. I think like something like Princess Mononoke kind of falls between that, except, Princess Mononoke is I wouldn't really use that as a reference for the tone of Zelda, because that is a very adult film. That is not a it's not a it's not like a super that's not a child friendly film. It has a lot of intense imagery and a lot of blood, that's but that is kind of what I would imagine uh, Zelda feeling like, and not Princess Mononoke, but somewhere between like Chronicles of Narnia and Lord of the Rings. So I think they're doing really good. I mean, I think this film is going to look beautiful because, I saw Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and it was largely filmed on location with a lot of practical effects. So I think they're really leaning into a lot of practical effects with this film. I am really excited to see what they do with that. But uh, that film also, like, I think the first 15 minutes or so really reminded me of Twilight Princess, like the opening to Twilight Princess, because the film, it opens like, it shows the main character Noah, uh, just living his life with the Eagle Clan, and then the villains raid his village and they kidnap his friends in his village, and then he goes on a journey to bring them back, and that's exactly what I think Twilight Princess's opening did. So it instills quite a bit of hope. I mean, I know there's a different screenwriter for The Legend of Zelda. It's Derek Connolly and I think T.S. Nowlin. Yeah, and I think there was a new one added. Um, Takashi Tezuka. I'm assuming that's like. Oh, okay. So he's like a producer on a lot of Mario and Nintendo games. Well, interesting. He's actually not even credited as a person for. Okay. He was one of the co-creators of Legend of Zelda, but he's uncredited apparently. Miyamoto, you're taking all the credit for making Zelda, but I'm glad he's on. If he really is part of the writing staff, I'm happy. But I know the writers are for Legend of Zelda and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes are different writers, but honestly, I mentioned it in my first video. I think I have a lot of faith. Wow, I have a lot of faith in Derek Connolly and T.S. Nowell, and I think they're going to do a really good job with this film. And then next up, it was something I kind of touched upon, but it's the costume design. It's Michelle Clapton is doing the costume design for this film, and again, I posted about this on Instagram and on Twitter, but she is doing God's work. She is just doing God's work for this film. These costumes look phenomenal. This is just, like, Zelda, like, they don't look like any particular Zelda game. Zelda especially kind of looks like it's pulling inspiration from Breath of the Wild, but that's not the only thing it's pulling inspiration from, because if it would have looked like cosplay, basically. It was what's the word I'm looking for? it's very... It would have looked like cosplay, but this one doesn't look like cosplay. It looks like a lived-in outfit, and it looks like a princess who is like, okay, I need to save my kingdom. This is a practical traveling outfit. And just Bo looks phenomenal in the outfit. I'm really excited to see. Like, I'm so excited to see her performance. And again, I touched upon it earlier, but Benjamin Evan Ainsworth really does look... The costume work for Link is really good. A lot of people are worried he's not wearing his cap, but I honestly think it's just an image without his cap, because if you zoom in, you can see like a little green thing in the grass. It's like sticking out in the grass. There's a little green thing just sticking out in the grass in between them. I think that's his cap. And not to mention, the Mario movie totally embraced its source material. And so many people are like, oh, well, they probably think it's gonna look silly in live action, the Link cap. I'm like, why would they compromise now when the Mario movie embraced its source material so much? I see no reason to believe they think that the cap would look too silly for legend for live action film. I think this is just a photo that is taken without the cap. And when I heard Michelle Clapton was doing the costume design work for the Legend of Zelda movie, I was like, the Game of Thrones costume designer? That is brilliant. These costumes are gonna look great, and they look phenomenal. I can't express my excitement enough for this film. And then, most recently, Shigeru Miyamoto said that the release date was moved up from May 7th to April 30th, which is just like a week's worth of time. But honestly, it makes me so excited. Apparently, that's like their magic month, because that's like the golden release month for their films, and that really tells me that they are moving ahead at a really brisk pace. Like, things are just looking things are looking great, and like they are totally on schedule, possibly ahead of schedule. But there was some other news that came out. Looking up right now, but it was like these casting news. I am looking it up right now, but all I know is that there was someone who was listed as a Goron on his agency website. Okay, I will cut until I find it. Okay, I'm gonna pause right here, and I will skip ahead until I find the information. Okay, so found the information. Evelyn Towersey is credited as Fado on her agency website. But I think the information might have been deleted off her agency website, but we have pictures. I'm gonna throw up a picture on screen of what she's credited as. She's credited as Fado, and if you don't know what Umami means, that is basically the code name for the film. And you can, again, I'm gonna flash a clapper up on screen because the director of photography, I'm gonna say Gyula Pados, I think is how you pronounce his name. He posted he posted images on his Instagram about the filming wrapping up, and on that is a clapperboard that has art of Link, and it has a little thing that says Umami on it, and it has, the director Wes Ball. So it's very much, so that is definitely, that's the code name for the Zelda film. And what fascinates me is Fado is a Kokiri from Ocarina of Time. I'll flash an image on screen of her. But so that would suggest that the Kokiri are going to be in this, which means there's going to be a scene where like Link and Zelda are probably in like the woods, and maybe like they meet, and maybe like the Kokiri are like children of the Deku Tree, and maybe that's where they find the Master Sword. I don't know. I'm speculating, but the Kokiri are probably going to be in this film. They're probably going to be in this film if a girl named Evelyn Towersey, again I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly, is credited as Vado in this film. And then an actor named Albert Latila Kepa is credited as Goron, which again confirms Goron are in this film. That's just insane to me. Yeah, it was okay. It was obvious Gorons and other Zelda races were going to be in this film, but the fact that we have confirmation and an actor who is confirmed to be playing a Goron is insane to me. It's crazy, because like 3 years ago we didn't know who would be playing Gorons, and I'm so excited. I'm just so excited. But that obviously means that they're gonna go to Death Mountain at some point, and we're gonna see like probably a primary Goron, like Darmani or Daruk, or the one Darunia from Ocarina of Time. And I think that's it for. Oh no, there's one more apparently. Okay. Alicia Di Harla is oh no, wait, no, that's okay. Well, the post is in Spanish, so sorry. Alicia D is credited as castle villagers and court and female villagers in the Zelda movie, which means, you know, she's gonna be a background role. She's probably like a day player. Then there's also like I think there was also a dog that was found on set. Meaning, and he's credited as day player, which means, you know, he's gonna be there's gonna be a dog that looks like the Breath of the Wild dog on set, and I'm really excited for that. Okay, now estimation on the first trailer release. Some people are speculating we're gonna get something in that rumored June direct. I don't think we're gonna get a trailer that early, but I do think we're gonna get news next month. I think we're gonna get news in June, especially since there was that recent announcement from Miyamoto saying that it was moved up from May 7th to April 30th. And that is, you know, that's a very that probably means marketing is going to start soon. We're going to get some more news, and I imagine if I were a betting man, we're gonna get like the full cast reveal next month during a possible June direct. I think that we're gonna get something like that, and maybe a logo reveal, or maybe, I don't know, a poster. I do not know. Don't quote me on that, but we are getting something very soon. I can just feel it in my bones. Something is gonna happen next month in June, and that is very exciting to me because, you know, we've waited 3 years for this film, and it is finally happening. I've waited since like 2000. I want to say 2011 for this film, or 2010. And that film, ever since I watched a fan film called The Legend of Zelda: Sage of Darkness. I'll link that in the description below. But yeah, I think that's gonna be about it for the Zelda movie. I guess next we'll talk about the Super Mario Brothers movie and the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and, you know, what's gonna come next. So I really like the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Hot take, but I thought it was actually better than the first film. I thought the pacing was better, but I think the plot was messier, and I'm really I'm really excited to see where where this film series goes. I think it's really exciting. I will say one of the big complaints I have is something I touched on earlier. It was the fact that Rosalina gets sidelined. She is literally just the damsel in distress in this film, and I really don't like that. She really should have played a bigger role in this film than just being a battery, a living MacGuffin to rescue. But um, that is really frustrating because she really needed to play a bigger role in this film. But the post-credit scene, spoilers. There are going to be spoilers here. But I mean, I guess if you've been subscribed to my channel, you probably already know the post-credit scene. But post-credit scene discussion, 3, 2, 1. My Flower Queen, Princess Daisy, is in this film, and I am so excited. She's my favorite Mario character. I am so excited to see what they do with her. I hope they treat her well. I hope they don't, like, do something with Rosalina, like what they did with Rosalina or Luigi, and just have her be the person who needs to be saved. And I don't think they're gonna do that. I don't think they're gonna end up doing that, but it was definitely a step up from the previous post-credit scene, because the previous post-credit scene basically just gave us information we already knew. We already saw Yoshi's earlier in the film, and that's the character they were teasing, the main Yoshi, but the fact that we already saw the Yoshis earlier in the film was just it made the post-credit scene feel so underwhelming, because we already saw the egg. We already saw the Yoshis earlier in the film, and I've seen the argument, oh, but it's not the green Yoshi. And I'm like, but it's still Yoshi. It's still a type of character we've seen before. So it's not, it should have been a character that really did tease what the next film was going to be about. I don't know, it could have been Lumily. It could have been like something about Lumily or something. But then again, I guess that's also a character you saw earlier in the film. I don't know how they could have done it, but maybe Bowser Jr. Maybe teasing Bowser Jr., because that's a character you hadn't seen before. But this one was a definite step up, because it was a character you hadn't seen before, and it kind of tells you where the story's gonna go. It's gonna be, it's probably gonna be like Super Mario Land with Super Mario Galaxy. I imagine they're probably gonna make Wario, like, the main villain, even though I would love for it to be Tatanga, but I imagine Tatanga will be in the next film in some capacity. But yeah, that's probably about it for Mario. Now let's go ahead and talk about future Nintendo movies in general. There was, if you saw it, you saw it. If you didn't, I might dig it up for this video, but there was like I think it was a Q1 investors release meeting or something for Universal, where they like show a bunch of upcoming films, and on that is an untitled Illumination and Nintendo project. It's since been deleted, so you can't find it anymore, but it is that raises questions, because there's usually a 3-year gap between these films. There's usually like a 3-year gap between Mario films, I imagine. This one could be one of two things. I'm putting most of my money on it being a Donkey Kong movie, but I think there's also a very strong possibility it's going to be a Star Fox film, because after Fox's inclusion in the Mario Galaxy movie, there's definitely going to be like a spin-off film with not a spin-off, because Fox is his own character. It's going to be another adaptation, basically. It's going to be like a film version. There's going to be like a film with Fox McCloud and Star Fox as the main characters, and them having to like defeat Andross. Um, so yeah, that's gonna be really that I'll show up for that. I'm not even a Star Fox fan, and I'll show up for that. I've seen some arguments, mostly from John Campea, which I love him. This isn't a knock against him, but he severely undersells the power that Nintendo actually has, um, in their more, I guess, niche franchises. And honestly, I'm not even sure niche is the right word to describe it, because these are very popular franchises. Like something like Star Fox, they recently revealed that that Star Fox 64 full remake and reimagining with a lot of new stuff, and it got so much attention. He thinks, like, John Campea, his argument was that Star Fox and was that like franchises like Star Fox and Metroid and Pikmin and Kirby, they're not Mario. Nintendo only has one Mario. And to that I have to say, gaming only has one Mario. There are very few games that have the multi-generational appeal of Mario. It's not just Nintendo. You look at something like Sonic, and his films do really well. Detective Pikachu does really well. These films don't need to be Mario to do well, is the thing. And again, I will refer to the new Star Fox remake, whether it was for the new character designs or the fact that it is the first Star Fox game in a decade. It got a lot of attention. It got, like, a lot of people I follow on Twitter and on YouTube who mostly just play, like, who I mostly just watched for, like, Mario and Zelda. They talked about these films. I mean, not films. They talked about the game and its reveal. So it is by no means a small unknown franchise. It is a big franchise. Something like Star Fox, Metroid, Kirby, all of these games have a huge fan base. Maybe not as big as Mario's, but they have a fan base. My computer keeps doing that. It keeps fading. Like, I'm recording and it's acting like I'm just idle on my computer. Like it's gonna go into power save mode, whatever. But the films have they have this power that if you get a movie in theaters for like Star Fox, it's going to do well. It's going to do very well. Maybe not as it's not going to be Mario. I don't think anything is going to do as well as Mario. I think not anything. I think there are some games that could do well as Mario. Minecraft, for one. That I think if you were to do a proper Minecraft movie, like not the live action meme fest that the live action one was, but like a proper animated Minecraft movie, I think that would have been a very that film would have done insanely well, because Minecraft is one of the biggest games of all time, up there with Mario. I think if you did a Grand Theft Auto movie, it would do really well. But that's the thing; those are the exceptions. Something like Sonic does very well at the box office. It makes, like, I think the last film made like $240 million, and that's a really good amount of money. Wait, was it 240 million? I'm gonna have to flash that up on screen. 240,000. It did really well, basically. It did really well. And then there was a rumor of a Metroid movie going around. Man, do I want to pull up that? Yeah, I'm gonna pull up my post on Twitter about this, because it was something that people really strongly objected to, because Twitter hates both of these people, and they were like my top picks to like be involved in the movie. And it's something that it's something that people really disliked because Twitter hates both of these people. I have no idea why, but it's Brie Larson as Samus and Chris Stuckman as the director. Um, I think that would be a great team because the both of these people know the game know the games really well. And Metroid is isolation horror, and I think that's what it should lean into. It was based on it pulled a lot of inspiration from the Alien movies, and I think that's what they really do need to kind of lean into, that isolation sci-fi horror. Like make it mostly about like focus primarily on Samus and her like I don't know hunting Ridley or something. I'll admit I don't know much about the games, but I do know they were based on Aliens, so I just feel it needs to be a live action film with Brie Larson and Chris Stuckman. That's why I would never say I should be writer and director because I don't know the source material like these two do. Like Brie Larson is clearly a gamer. I remember she answered a question like Super Mario Galaxy was the first Mario game to ever have a fully orchestral soundtrack, and it was like true or false. Is that true or false? And she immediately said true, and I was like, she knows the games because that is not a that is not a fact you could ask like I don't know Jack Black or Chris Pratt, and they would not be able to answer that off the top of their heads. They would not be able to do that the way Brie did. So she clearly knows these games, and she clearly knows what Samus would be like. And I know she was pushing for the role of Samus several years back, and people hated it. And I know people aren't a fan of Chris for whatever reason. Like, I can understand Shelby Oaks. It was like a 6 out of 10 movie for me, but I think but I think that was mostly a problem with the writing. I don't think Chris is very much as much a writer as he is a director. He's a really good director. I mean, he pulled some really good performances out of these actors for what are otherwise pretty flat and bland characters, but I think he also does isolation horror very well. And that's kind of what Shelby Oaks has. That's kind of the feel Shelby Oaks has. It has like this freaky side to it. I don't think it should be as freaky as Shelby Oaks, but it is definitely a film that makes me say get Chris Stuckman as director of Metroid. And I don't know who the screenwriter would be. I don't know if it'd be Chris. Probably not. I think they would want to hire someone who can like write these characters a little better than Chris. And I know he expressed interest during the press tour for Shelby Oaks, but I'm really excited for this. But I think that is all the talking points I want to cover. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to like and subscribe. I will leave a link to my blog sites in the description below. And comment your thoughts. Let me know what you think of the Zelda movie and all the talking points I made. This is a nice long video that you can probably just listen to in the background. See ya. Next time there's news. I have a feeling the next time you see me, it'll probably be at the Nintendo Direct in like June or something. Basically, I have a feeling next time we see each other, it's gonna be about the Legend of Zelda movie or Nintendo of something.